Hi everyone, welcome to this class. In this class, let's see about class loading and static variables. So, as part of this session, let's see, how the class is loading when we are running a Java program, and what is meant by static variables and why we need static variables, and what are the properties of a static variable. So, what happens when we are running a program, what happens, how the static variables are initialized, how it is loaded in the memory, everything we will see in this class. So what happens, by default Java has two types of memories. Okay, Java has two types of memories. One is like stack memory, another one is heap memory. Okay, Java has two types of memories. One is stack memory, another one is heap memory. So, stack memory, it is mainly used for execution purpose. Stack memory, it is mainly used for execution purpose. So, whenever we are running particular class, what happens? It needs to be executed, right? So first we are compiling the Java program using JavaC command. Once compilation is success, we are running a Java program by Java command, Java class name. While we are running a Java program, that time it is started executing. So that execution part where it will be stored, that will be stored under stack memory. Correct? Whenever we are running any Java program, you know that execution should be stored under stack memory. I can tell, like, for simple, one blind example, you can consider about RAM. Okay, RAM is like random access memory. So what happens, whatever we are running, those temporary applications execution, it will be stored. So same way, like stack memory, it is used for execution purpose. What about the second one, heap memory? So, heap memory we will see in detail in later tutorials. But for now, you can understand that heap memory, it is used for storage purpose. So while we are creating any objects, what happens is that physical object should be stored somewhere. So all the objects are residing in heap memory. So heap memory is mainly used for storing all kinds of objects. And for example, if you ask me, like, some basic example for heap memory, you can consider as a hard disk. So it is kind of permanent storage, and and it is mainly used for storing the data, right? Same way, like here, heap memory, it is mainly used for storing the objects. And once object is not at all used, then later point of time, JVM, it will be, it will garbage collect. So heap memory is mainly used for storage purpose, and stack memory, it is used for execution purpose. Let's go to our hello world program. Consider, let me create on hello world. Select the languages Java. So let's go with class hello world. So let's save this class. Okay, let's go with one basic method. This is the main method, we have already seen it. Correct. So let's save this program. You can save under the decide directory. I am storing under programs directory. Let's store with class name dot java. Correct, it should be saved with java extension. So you already aware of this program. What happens, usually we will compile this program, go to the location where you have created hello world. So you will compile this program by using javac command, javac filename.java, javac filename.java. Once compilation is success, what we will do, we will run using java command. Correct. So you will be getting output as, you will be getting output as Mercy Technologies. Correct. You are seeing the output as Mercy Technologies because simply we are printing one statement. So here what happens, here what happens, we are trying to run a class, correct? So what happens in the background, if you observe, okay, so whenever we are running particular class, that class is loading into stack memory. Already we have seen that stack memory, it is used for execution purpose. Stack memory, it is used for execution purpose. So while we are running any class by using java command, that class is loading into stack memory. Okay, here what happens, here we are trying to run hello world class. While we are running hello world class by using java keyword, correct, when we are running hello world class by using java command, that time what happens, first hello world class is loading into stack memory. Okay, hello world class is loading into stack memory. So what happens? We are trying to run hello world class. So consider this is your stack memory, correct? This is your stack memory. What happens here? We have seen that stack memory, it is used for execution purpose. Stack memory, it is used for execution purpose. This is our stack memory, correct? What happens here, while you are trying to run hello world, you know, class, what happens, that hello world class is loading into stack memory. So what happens here, I am trying to run hello world dot class, correct? This is our hello world. So this hello world dot class, it is loaded into stack memory, correct? This is the class. So while we are running any Java program, that class is loading into stack memory. Who is loading, who is responsible for loading into stack memory? Let's take the notes. We have seen one point, while we are running a Java program, while we are running a Java program, correct? Or you can say while you are running a Java class, so that class is loading into stack memory. That class is loading into stack memory. This is the first point we have seen, correct? So who is loading this class into stack memory? It is loaded by JVM. JVM is nothing but Java Virtual Machine. Okay, Java virtual machine is responsible for loading the class into, you know, stack memory. You are getting it right. While we are running a Java program, by default, first JVM what it does is it takes that class and it is loading into stack memory. Okay. Consider during your class you are calling another class. Okay. While you are running a class again, what happens? You are calling another class. Consider that is employee class. Again, what we will do? Already hello world class is loaded by JVM. Correct? Already JVM is loaded hello world. It is under execution. It is under stack memory. So again consider from hello world class you are trying to call employee class. This example we will see later. Just I am telling like to understand the background. Inside hello world class, consider you are trying to call employee class method, any one of the method or variable or anything. That time what happens? Again, employee class will be loaded into stack memory. Okay, this is what here happens. While you are running this class, this complete class will be loaded into stack memory. Who is responsible? Java virtual machine. Java virtual machine comes into picture when we are running a Java application. So Java virtual machine is responsible for loading the class into stack memory. Okay. So let's see one more program. Let's go with new class. Okay. Let's go with you know class name as heroes. Select the language as Java. This we seen already. We have seen already on local variable, correct? We have seen already local variable. This is called a local variable. Why it is called a local variable? Because it is declared inside a method. Local variable x is declared inside main method, right? That's why it is called a local variable. We have already seen this point. If a variable is declared inside a method or block, that is called local variable. If a variable is declared inside a method or block, that is called local variable. Correct? So what I am trying to do is I am not declaring this local variable inside a method. Let me remove. I am declaring a variable inside a class but outside to method. Here if you see, I am declaring a variable inside a class but not inside any methods. Consider I am declaring like this. This x is called as static variable. This x is called as static variable. Why it is called as static variable? Because it is not declared inside any of the method. There can be one more method also, right? There can be one more method also. Public static, okay, void, consider it is process method, which is taking only one argument. Consider it is taking int argument. Okay. If you see here, right, here there are two methods are there, but we have declared only one variable. This x variable is not declared inside of any methods, but it is declared inside class. And one more interesting thing is that variable is declared with static keyword. We are seeing keywords in different colors, right? We are seeing keywords in different colors. So static, this X is declared with static. That's why it is called a static variable. Okay. That's why it is called a static variable. We can take the notes. Static variables should be declared with static keyword. Static keyword here it is a must. Okay. Here we are declared X with static keyword. Okay. It is must. And where it is declared? Where it is declared? Static variables are declared inside class. Static variables are declared inside the class, correct? But and it should not be declared inside any of the methods. I cannot simply declare like this. Suppose I cannot simply declare like this. It is wrong. Compiler will throw compile time error. Okay, here you will get compilation error. Okay, because static means it should be outside of any methods. Okay, I will tell why. So just we are trying to understand. Okay, static variables should not be, not is important, should not be declared inside methods, inside any methods, correct? Static variables we can tell it as, what is mean by static variables, how we can call static variables. We can say static variables can be called as global variables. Global variables. Okay, all names are same. What is mean by, how we can tell static variable? Static variable we can call it as global variables. Why means, okay, let's remove this. Why we are calling it as global variable? Because this X variable is global to all the methods. X is declared as a static variable. So, and it is declared inside the class. All the variables and methods should be declared inside class. Correct? All the variables and methods should be declared inside class. That's what we are seeing here. Completely, we have here one static variable and two methods. All are declared inside class. Correct? And here X, if you observe, right, X is a static variable. Why you are calling it as static variables or global variables? Because it is global to all the methods. There are different names are there. Okay, so X is global to main method, also X is global to process method. Main method also can access X, process method also can access X. That is why we are calling this as global variables or static variables. What about local variables? What about local variables? If I declare a local variable here, consider int y. This is called a local variable, right? Consider here I declare one more variable called z. This also called local variable. Why? Because z and y both are declared inside a method. Y is declared inside main method. The scope is, visibility is there inside main method only. Y can be accessed inside main method only. Y can be used inside main method only. Outside main method, you cannot use it. Suppose in process method, you cannot use Y variable because it is not visible, because it is local variable. Local variable are visible inside the method where it is declared. Okay, that is what we are seeing here. Local variables are, local variables are, that scope is inside the method where it is declared. Okay, local variables scope or what you can say, it is visibility, right, or access, right? Visibility. Local variables scope and visibility are inside a method where it is declared. Correct. Local variable scope or visibility, it is there only inside a method. Here if you see, right, y variable you can use inside, you know, uh, inside main method only. Here I cannot use y, here I cannot print, here I cannot reinitialize y also, again I cannot use here y, because y scope or visibility, it is inside main method only. Correct. Same way z is declared inside, z is declared and initialized inside process method. So z scope or visibility, it can be accessed used inside process method only. That is the limitations of local variable. Local variables are used, can be accessed inside the methods where it is declared, whereas global variables, it can be accessed throughout the class. Inside class, whatever you declared, either different types of methods or block, later point of time we will see instance block, static block, constructor, wherever you want to use, you can use static variables. There is no limitations at all for static variables. So that's why we are calling static variables as global variables. Correct? Or you can say universal variables. Okay, because it can be accessed anywhere inside the class. These are the different names. Or third one, you can say it is a class variables. Correct. It is a class variables because it is declared inside class, it is not declared inside any method. Okay, that's why we are calling it as static variable, or global variable, or universal variable. There are different methods. You can call it as static variables, or class variables, or global variables, or universal variables. These are the different names for static variables. So suppose in any of the place, if we say global variables, then you need to understand it is a static variables. Or class variables, we keep on using class variables. Class variables means it is static variables. Okay, now let's make this simple. Let's make this class quite simple. So what I try to do is, here I have created like this. Okay, let me save this program, save it as for edos.java. Okay, we have saved it. Even you can compile it also. Okay, java c file name.java. Compilation is success. You can run. How to run? Java file name. Correct. No output we are getting because we are not printing anything. What happens here? While you are running edos.java, what happens? That class is loaded into stack memory. The first point we have seen is whenever we are running a class, okay, let me move this point below. Whenever we are running a class, that class is loading into stack memory. What is second point? When class is loaded into stack memory, all the static variables are loaded into stack memory. When the class is loaded into stack memory, all the Static variables are loaded into stack memory. This is the second point. All the static variables are loaded into stack memory. Correct? First point we have seen, while we are running a class, that class is loaded into stack memory. Correct? Now second point is, here while we are running edos is loaded into stack memory. When edos class is loaded into stack memory, this is the class, right? When edos class is loaded into stack memory, what happens? All the static variables, consider here we have declared two static variables, static int x, static int y. All the static variables are loaded into stack memory. I can say x is loaded with stack memory and y also loaded into stack memory. Correct? Both x and y both are loaded into stack memory. Clear? So the second point is, when we are running a class, first is JVM is loading that class into stack memory. Second point is, while JVM is loading the class into stack memory, that time what happens? It will see what are the variables, what are the static variables are there. All the static variables it will load into stack memory. This is the second point. This is our second point. Correct? Now what happens? The third point is, okay, it is loading static variables, right? Continuation to that, the third point is, when static variables are loaded into stack memory, when static variables are loaded into stack memory, when static variables are loaded into stack memory, what happens? All the static variables are loading with default values. When the static variables are loaded into stack memory, all the static variables are loaded with default values. Okay, all the static variables are loaded with default values. Default values. Okay, what it means? Here, x and y both are loaded into stack memory. Correct? X is loaded and y is loaded. And when x is loaded, x will be loaded with the default value. What is the data type of x? Data type of x is, int. Okay. What is the data type of y? Consider we are making it as boolean. Okay. First, x will be loaded with default value is 0. X int, because it is integer. Okay. Int means default value is 0. Okay. And y means it is a boolean. Boolean means there we can store either true or false. Okay. That is only possible. So boolean default value is false. Boolean default value is false. What happens? Here, the third step is, when static variables are loaded into stack memory, all the static variables are loaded with the default values. Okay. So let's see what are the default values. Even we can note down the point here. Okay. So we have seen all primitive data type, right? Byte, short, int, long. Correct? These are the primitive data types. These four are used for storing decimal numbers, whole numbers. So the default value is 0. Correct? And what about float and double? Float and double is used for storing floating point value, right? Float and double used for storing floating point value. The default value is 0.0. 0.0. What about boolean? Boolean default value is false. What about char? One more data type. Empty character. This is empty character, right? Nothing I stored, just like empty character. Okay. Character means by default value is empty character. Okay. So suppose user defined data type. Suppose we are saying like these are the primitive data types, right? Byte short, int long, float double, boolean, and char. All these are 8 primitive data types. So derived data types. Under derived data types, we are seeing like if you declare any class, string is an inbuilt class, correct? System also one of the class. Suppose consider we have created an employee class. Those are will be loaded with null. Okay, those are will be loaded with null. So default value for derived data type is null. Okay, default value for derived data type is null, whereas for byte short, int long, default value is 0, float and double default value is 0.0, boolean default value is false, character default value is empty character. Okay, so let's go back to our class again. So which we have declared it. Here what we are doing, here we have declared x and y. So let's try to print x and y. So I am just printing x equal to, I am trying to print x value as well as y value. Okay, so let's see what is the output here. Okay, save the class again. We have declared two static variables. So what should be the output? We have already seen here, right? It will be loaded with the default values. That's what we have seen. Let's see the output. Recompile the program again. Java C filename.java, then Java file name. See here, observe the output. So what output you are getting? 0. Why you are getting 0? Because it is a static variable, correct? Static variable, and when we are running a class, first JVM is loading that class into stack memory. That is the first point. Second point is when the class is loading into stack memory, all the static variables are loaded into stack memory. That is the second point. Third point is when static variables are loaded in stack memory, all the static variables are initialized with default values. All the static variables are initialized with the default values. Here x is initialized with 0 because it is an int data type. Y is initialized with false because it is a boolean type. Clear? And one more interesting point is, you know, without initialization also, by default, you can use it. You are getting right. In local variable, if you see, we have seen on program. Okay, I'm just giving some more clarification. Okay, consider this is a local variable. Okay, local variable without initialization, you cannot use it, right? We will get compile time error. Correct, you will get compile time error. If I use like this, we will get compile time error. We have seen all this already this program, right? Because it is a local variable. What is the rule we have seen? Local variable should be initialized at any cost before its usage. Correct? Let's recompile the program again. Java C filename.java. See, we are getting compile time error here. Variable local variable might not have been initialized. Correct? Compile time error. What about global variables? What about static variables? Without initializing, we can use it. There won't be compile time error. Correct? Without initializing, we can use it because by default, while JVM is loading static variables, by default, Default values are initialized. Default values are initialized. That's why we are getting, you know, 0 and false. Let's go to one more program. Let's go with one more program. Ashrita, and we have declared one, you know, one class. What we do here, we are going for inside the class, we are trying to declare a method. That is main method. Okay. What we do here, inside this class, we are trying to declare all the data types as a static variable. Consider static, let me go with it, byte b. Okay. And what I do, I will go with next is short, right? Next data type is short. Next one is int. Fourth one is, we have seen long L. Then next one is float f. Okay. Next data type is double D. Another one is character, right? Char. You need to declare with static keyword or else you will get issues. Character C. Final data type we have seen is one more. Last data type is boolean. Let's declare the boolean. We no need to declare b again because already we declared given name as b for byte. We can declare with as some other name b1. Okay. So what we do here, we have declared all data types, all primitive data types. Under primitive we have seen 8 data types, all we have declared as a static variables. What we do here, we are trying to print all the data types, all the static variables here we are trying to print. First is byte, short, int, long, float, double, boolean, correct, character, and the boolean. We are trying to print all the variables here. What we are saying, while we are running this class, Ashrita will be loaded into stack memory, correct? This is Ashrita class, correct? This class will be loaded into stack memory, correct? What happens when a class is loaded into stack memory? What happens when a class is loaded into stack memory? It will load all the static variables. Second point. What about that point? That point we have seen, when static variables are loaded into stack memory, all the static variables are loaded with the default values. We have seen all the default values. So byte short int long should be loaded with 0, float and double will be loaded with 0.0, boolean will be loaded with false, character will be loaded with empty space. Okay, so that's what we are trying to print. First 4 output we should get as a 0, correct? Then remaining 2 should be 0.0, third one should be character, correct? Fourth one should be boolean value, correct? So let's run this. Let's save this program first. Class name.java. Then compile it. Java C, file name.java. Compilation is success. Let's run this. Java class name. See here, first four you are getting 0, correct? Because byte, short, int, long. All these are used for storing decimal values. We have seen it. All these variables are used for storing decimal values, right? That's why you are getting 0.0. We have seen it, right? All are loaded with the default value. Default value is 0. What about float and double? Float and double, F and D. F and D, if you see, those are float and double. Float and double are loaded with 0.0. That is why here you are seeing 0.0. What about Boolean? Boolean means it will be loaded with false. Correct? Boolean, here we are trying to print B1. What it is printing? False. Because Boolean default value is false. What about character? Character will be loaded with empty character. Listen here. It is loaded on empty character here. Nothing is there. Nothing is there here. One empty character. Okay. So what we are trying to do here is, here we are declared all the data types of variables, static variables. Here we are trying to print it. All are printed with default values. Now let's go with one more program. Let's save. Let's go with one more new program. Class Amuda Akka. Okay, I'm going with one more new class. What I do is, I will go with public static void main string arguments of, correct, it is array, so declare as array. Now what I do here is, here let me declare static int x equal to 100. What happens here? Let's save this class name.java, correct. While we are running, what happens? The class is loaded into stack memory, correct. Class is loaded with stack memory. What is the second point? What is the second point? When the class is loading into stack memory, all the static variables are loaded into stack memory. It means here we have only one variable, that is x variable. X variable is loaded into stack memory. That is what the second point is. What is the third point? When the static variables are loaded into stack memory, all the static variables are loaded with the default values. Here we have only one variable, that is x, correct. X is loaded with default value. It is int type, so it is loaded with 0. It is loaded with 0, correct. So the fourth point is, that is we are trying to load the, by default it will be loaded with default values, correct. The fourth point is, once static variables are loaded with the default values, then reinitialization will happen from top to bottom. Reinitialization will happen from top to bottom. From top to bottom. Correct. What it means? Here we declared static int x equal to 0. The third point is, x will be loaded with default value. Correct. First x value is 0. Then once x is loaded with the default value, then it will scan the class it will check, yeah, it is already loaded with default value, then it will reinitialize the value. What is the value here? 100. So 100 will be reinitialized. Okay, 100 will be reinitialized. X will be 0 will be deleted. Correct? 0 will be deleted. 0 will be deleted here. Correct? What it will happen here? 0 will be deleted and X will be loaded with reinitialization is happening with 0. Again, I am coming back. When we are running this class, Amudaka, what happens? This class is loaded into stack memory. That's the first point we have seen it. Correct? And second point is, when we are loading this class, Amudaka, all the static variables are loaded. Here only one X variable, X is loaded. Third point, when X is loaded, what happens? It's loaded with the default values. It loaded with 0. Correct? The fourth point is, once static variables are loaded with default values, then reinitialization is happening from top to bottom, right? So what is the reinitialization here? Here 100. Correct? X will be reinitialized with 100. Let's go with one more, some more modification in this class. What will happen here? So first class will be loaded. Second point is all the static variables will be loaded. Correct? All the static variables will be loaded. Correct? All the static variables will be loaded, right? So X will be loaded, Y will be loaded, and Z will be loaded. Correct? That is the second point. What is the third point? When X is loaded, it will be loaded with initial value, that is 0. What about Y? Y also it is int type, it will be loaded with 0. What about Z? Z also it is a int type, it will be loaded with 0. Correct? All are loaded with default value. What is the fourth point we have seen? Once static variables are loaded with default values, here all are loaded with the default values. Correct? Default value is done. Then what is the fourth point? Reinitialization is happening from top to bottom. First variable is X. X will be reinitialized with 100. X will be X will be reinitialized with 100, right? X will be reinitialized with 100. Okay. 0 will be deleted and X will be reinitialized with 100. X will become as 100. What about Y? Y also will be reinitialized with 200. Correct? What about Z? Z we didn't initialize anything, so Z will be 0 only. Correct? So if you print all the values system.out.println, consider I am trying to print X equal to plus X and you are trying to print Y and Z. Correct? What will happen here? Let's save this class. We have saved it. So let's recompile it. Java C file name.java. Compilation is success. Let's run it. Java file name, right? So what happened? We have seen X and Y both are reinitialized. You see the final output, right? X will be reinitialized with 100, Y will be reinitialized with 200. That's why we are getting X and Y as 100 and 200. But Z is not reinitialized. It is loaded with default values. Z is loaded with the default values. That's why we are getting 0. Correct? That's why we are getting 0. Now, let's do some more modification in this class. Okay, let's go with, okay, let's remove these two lines. Okay, I'm going with one more method. Public static void. Okay, consider this is a process method. It takes single argument. Consider the argument is number. Okay, just we have declared one method. Nothing we are doing inside the method. Just we have declared a method. Now what we will do is, what will happen means, when the class is loaded into stack memory, first point is, while we are running that class Amudaka, that class is loaded into stack memory, correct? By JVM. And second point is, when the class is loaded with stack memory, all the static variables are loaded inside stack memory. X, Y, Z all are loaded. What is the third point we have seen? When static variables are loaded with stack memory, all the static variables are loaded with default values. X, Y, Z, all three are loaded with default values 0, 0, 0 in the beginning. Correct? Fourth point is, once loaded with the default values, then reinitialization is happening. Correct? From top to bottom. First X will be reinitialized, then Y will be reinitialized, then Z will be reinitialized. If there is no value, then it will be default values. What is the fifth point? So far we have loaded static variables, correct? Fifth point is, once static variables are loaded into stack memory, reinitialization is happening, correct? Completely it is done. Once static variables are done, correct? After loading of static variables, what happens? JVM will load all the static methods. After loading static variables, all the static methods are loaded into stack memory. All the static methods are loaded in stack memory, right? Correct? Loaded into stack memory. See here, the fourth step we are seeing, like reinitialization is happening. Once reinitialization is happened, what happens? It is finding what are the static methods are there here. Whichever methods are declared using static keyword. Main method is declared using static keyword. Process method also declared using static keyword. There can be one more method in it that can be without static keyword. That's okay. But it will only identify static methods. Then it will load all the static methods into stack memory. Okay, it will load all the static methods into stack memory. Here what we have? Here we have two things. One is main method, correct? It will load the main method, and what it will do? It will load one more static method is there, process method, correct? What JVM is doing? JVM is loading these two methods. JVM is loading these two methods into stack memory. All these operations is happening while we are running, before we are getting the output, right? We are getting the output on the console, right? Before to this, all these background things are happening. Before we are getting the output, in background, all these operations are happening. There are much more things are happening in the background. We are simply, thinking that it is a hello world program, right? But there are much more things are happening in the background. JVM is doing many things. Runtime environment, mainly JVM, they are doing in many things in background, correct? JDK developers, they have designed everything like this. So here main method, it's a static method, and process method also static method. Both are loaded into stack memory, correct? That is the fifth point. What is the sixth point? Once all the static methods are loaded inside stack memory, once all the static methods are loaded into stack memory, loaded into stack memory, what happens? JVM main method is already loaded. It is available inside stack memory now. Stack memory is having complete details of a class, correct? About static variables and static methods, it has complete details. Main method is already there. What JVM will do is, JVM will take this main method, correct? JVM will see this method signature. This is what we have seen. This complete line, what we have seen, this is the method signature, correct? JVM, what it will do? It will load. Already it is loaded main method and process method. Both are available. JVM will check, is there any method with the name as main and the complete signature, access level as public, and it should be declared as static, and it should not return any type, and it should have only one argument. That too, it should be string argument. It will check, is there any signature, is there any method with this signature? Then what it will do is, JVM only will call this main method. JVM only will call this main method, correct? JVM only it will call the main method. We have already seen that, correct? Who is running this main method? JVM is calling. JVM only making the call. We are not calling it, right? JVM only calling it. Let's save this and run this program again. Java C file name dot class name dot Java, then Java class name. See, we are getting output. This is a main method. Someone is calling. We did not call. Correct? Someone is calling. Who is calling? That is called by JVM, Java Virtual Machine. JVM is calling this main method, and the execution starts from main method. And the execution starts from main method. What is the sixth point we are saying? Once all the static methods are loaded into stack memory, JVM calls main method, and main method started executing, and main method started its execution, right? Its execution, correct? Control goes to main method. Main method, whatever we are keeping inside method, you know execution starts from main method. Suppose process method, JVM did not call process method because it is our own method, right? Process is user defined method, correct? So suppose if you want to call process method, what we need to do? We need to call explicitly. Already we have seen that, right? We need to call process method, and we need to, it is taking single argument. You need to pass some value. Consider I am passing 10. Okay. In this case, if we compile again and if we run it, correct? If we run it, what we will get? JVM is called main method. That's why we are execution started, and we are only calling process method. See here where we are calling, correct, calling a process method, right? We are making the call, correct. So I am just trying to say that if you declare any method we need to call, but main method we no need to call. Main method will be called by JVM. Okay, let's quickly recap all the points again from the beginning. Okay, so what we have seen, there are two types of memory. Stack memory, it is for execution purpose, and what we have seen in the next point. So far we are seeing only stack memory. Whenever we are running a particular class, that class is loaded into stack memory, correct? That is the first point we have seen, correct. And what is the second point? When the class is loaded into stack memory, all the static variables, it will see inside a class how many static variables are there. It will see all the static variables, and all the static variables are loaded with the default values, correct. Second point, it will load all the static variables. Third point is it will load all the static variables with default values. Depends upon the data type, it will load the static variables. Third point is once all the static variables are loaded with default values, then what will happen? Initialization is happening from top to bottom, correct? From x y z, top to bottom, reinitialization is happening. That is the fourth point. Once we completely loaded the static variables, reinitialization is completed, then JVM, it will load all the static methods into stack memory. Once completely all are available inside stack memory, then what it will do, JVM will call main methods, and main method it will call, and control goes into main method. So main method will start its execution, and whatever we are keeping inside main method, those will be executed. Okay, so one of the point we missed is we didn't see any we have seen primitive data type, but we didn't see any derived data type. Consider you are declaring on one string variable. Okay, static string. Consider you are going with name. Okay, here what will happen? Suppose if you are printing the variable, correct? What will happen here? You didn't initialize anything. When string name is loaded in the stack memory, it will be loaded with the default value. We have seen one point. Default value means for derived data types it will be null, right? So let's save this program again. Let's run this. Javac file name.java, java file name. See, name is loaded with null because it is a string value. It comes under derived data type. That's why we are getting null.